Today Baba talks about those children who experience all relationships with Baba. Yes. So, are you that child who experiences all relationships with Baba? Please raise your hand if you are that child. Now you see, the truth is that I am a soul and all my relationships are with Baba. And I have been disillusioned into believing that the bodily relationships are my true relationships. But then if you, but because of this belief system, we have suffered a lot. Because if you try to find something where it is not there, then all you will get is become very tired and harrowed and hassled. Yes, so I remember there was this one joke where there was a person who was looking for a coin, a lost coin, under a lamppost. And then he looked and looked and looked, and then everybody saw that he was so frantically searching for it, but he didn't get it. And then suddenly somebody came and asked him, "Where did you lose it?" So he said, "Half a kilometer away from here." So he said, "Then why are you searching for it here?" So he said, "Because here there is light and there it is dark." So he said, "Okay, there is light here, but then you lost it half a kilometer away. So even if it is dark there, you will find it there, not here, because it is there." Similarly, you see, just because I think I am a body, and just because I think that it is easier to connect to bodies in body consciousness, so sometimes you think that, whatever you are looking for in relationships, you will find from bodily beings, because that is who you know, that is who you that is who you are able to connect with, which is not very different from the ways of the world where somebody loses something somewhere and then tries to find it somewhere else because there is light. So Baba says that just because you are body conscious and you think that bodily beings can give you what you're seeking, you will not be able to find it there. And the truth is that however much you try to find what you're seeking from bodily beings, all my relationships are actually with Baba. And how do I experience the attainments of all relationships with Baba? So for that, I have to make effort. What is the effort? The effort is to be soul conscious. Because when I consider myself to be a soul, only then can I feel all my relationships with the one who doesn't have a body. And in order to experience the juice or the fruit or the attainments or the fulfillment of all relationships from Baba, I have to make that effort to be soul conscious and turn my attention towards Baba. And if I don't make that effort, then I'm like that person, who is trying to just look for something, look for his lost coin in a place where there is light, because he thinks where it is dark he can't. So, but you will find it where you lost it. So Baba says the truth still stands even if you don't make the effort to be soul conscious, even if you don't make the effort to feel the attainments of all relationships from Baba, the truth doesn't change. The truth is, for the soul, the truth is that all relationships are with Baba. And sometimes, we get a glimpse of some little attainment from a bodily being, and then it reinforces the disillusionment, because you think that because you got something from a bodily being, so if you tried a little harder, a little more, then maybe you would get everything from another bodily being. But then that is just Maya playing around. So no bodily being or no collection of bodily beings can actually give you what you are really seeking. And what is the true method in which we should operate in this world? So first have all relationships with Baba, and for that, just knowing that I have all relationships with Baba will not help. I have to practice being soul conscious. I have to practice bringing into my awareness how Baba is practically coming and sustaining me. And in that awareness of how Baba has become my father, teacher and Satguru, and in that realization of how Baba is filling me with all attainments, I will be able to experience the fruit or attainment of all relationships with Baba. And it is an effort that you have to make. Yes, and you see, I'll tell you one incident. So there is a lady, and she was talking to me yesterday, and she said that my husband doesn't listen to me. My husband only listens to my mother-in-law. And he said that, and she was saying that because he only listens to his mother, so my mother-in-law keeps telling things against me, and then there is a big misunderstanding between me and my husband. And then she said that he refuses to listen to me. So how do I solve this? So I said, you cannot solve this. You can explain all you want. You can say what you want. But solving this is not in your hand. And if your husband doesn't want to listen to you, he won't listen to you until he wants to listen to you. And that's not in your hands. And then she said, but I feel very desperate, and I feel like I should commit suicide, and what is the purpose of my life, and if the only person that I loved and gave my life for is not mine. So I said, okay, you can do that also. So you can go and commit suicide also. But that doesn't mean that your husband will start listening to you. So you have to understand. So then she said, then what do I do? So I said, first, you have to forge all relationships with Baba. And then she said, yes, everybody knows that, we have all relationships with God. We sing also that you are the mother, father, brother, sister, teacher, guide. So I said, yes, but that is not just in letter, but in spirit also you have to feel that. You have to come to that experience, and for that you do the course. So you see that this is how it is going. We want a lot from relationships. And so that lady, she told me that for 16 years her husband was an ideal husband. And after 16 years, when they moved in with the in-laws, because they were living in some foreign country and then they came back to India. So when they moved in with the in-laws, then things changed. So you see that any relationship, even if it looks like it's a very good relationship right now, you never know when it's going to change. And Baba says that Baba has never asked us to leave people or leave relationships. So Baba says, live with everybody, but in a knowledgeful and powerful state. Do not live under the illusion that, that Maya has made us disillusioned with for so long, because Maya has made us believe that things are and people are as you think they are or you want them to be. But that's not true. They are who they are what they are, and you need to understand them and then live with them. But Baba says for that you need a very knowledgeful and powerful state. You need a very elevated state. And how do you get that state? When you make the effort to forge all relationships with Baba. And Baba says that is the effort you have to make. And for that, the primary effort is consider yourself to be a soul and turn your mind towards Baba, turn your buddhi towards Baba, and just sit in that communion, in that connection, and fill yourself with Baba's love, Baba's purity. Baba is raining love, Baba is raining purity, Baba is raining power on us. And I need to soak that in. I need to just soak myself in that rain. And then I will be full. And Baba says, when you do that, then you will live with everybody, but you will live in a very detached manner, in a detached and loving manner. And you see, in the world, people never think that detached and loving go together. People think that, when you are detached, it means you are kind of dissociated. And when you are dissociated, then you can't be loving. But Baba tells us no. Dissociation is not detachment. So in Hindi, Baba says kinara karna. Kinara karna is dissociation. When you are just abandoning somebody or just, just avoiding somebody, that's not detachment. Detachment is a very, excuse me, detachment is a spiritually elevated state. And Baba always gives this example of, when you cook halwa. So those of you make halwa, and those of you don't, make halwa and see. So, so when you cook halwa, then when the halwa is very properly cooked, then what happens is it just leaves the sides and it comes out very nicely off the ends. And Baba says that when you are in a very spiritually elevated state, when you have spiritual maturity, and that happens through knowledge power, yoga power. So the more you consider yourself to be a soul and fill yourself with all attainments from Baba, then you are like that cooked halwa, and then you don't stick to any sides. Then you're very detached. And detachment is not done because you hate somebody, you dislike somebody. Detachment is a very organic state. Detachment is not when you have to stop yourself from doing something. So, sometimes there is an urge to talk to somebody and then you're just stopping yourself from doing that because you think that you are compromising on your ego by approaching somebody again and again. So that is not detachment. Detachment is a very elevated, a very mature state which you achieve through tapasya, through practice. And in that mature state, you are like that cooked halwa, where you don't, your intellect doesn't stick to anyone or anything. And in that state, you're very full. So you're very loving also. So Baba says that that is the way to live life. Experience all relationships with Baba, experience fullness with this relationship with Baba, and then be in a state where you have this attitude of being detached and loving to everyone. And Baba says, in that state, you will be tireless. Because we don't get tired because of work. We get tired because of the burden of expectation and disappointment. So, there are two things that make us tired, I and mine. So, when you have this I and mine, then all through the day, you're working and you're working with your hands. And that is not tiring, because you see, if you don't use your hands, if you don't work, if you don't physically use your body, then what happens is this body becomes a liability. So working and getting tired are not associated. Working and energizing are associated. So the more work you do, the more energized you will become. But people say that I get tired with work. But the truth is, you never get tired with work. You get tired with work because you work with the consciousness of I and mine. Yes. So let's say, you are somebody who is at home, and then you have to open the door for somebody when they come. Correct? So now, if you are detached and loving, then what do you have to do? Just open the door when they come. But if you are in my consciousness that this person who has to come is mine, then you start deciding when they should come and whether they are late or early, and whether they are, they have crossed their time limit. And then you start all the thinking and fretting and worrying, and then the complaining, and then when they come, the shouting, the screaming, everything. And that is what makes you tired. So work doesn't make us tired. So when you're cooking, cooking is not tiring. But when you're cooking for someone, that's tiring. Because let's say you invested half an hour or 1 hour in cooking, and then you thought, I am cooking their favorite dish. And then they come and they say that I ate outside and I have no interest in eating what you cooked. Then what happens? You feel so tired and bad. And that is, so Baba says, when you are detached and loving, which is a byproduct of having all relationships with Baba. Because sometimes, when we come to the spiritual path that Baba shows us, then we like certain concepts very much. And one of the concepts that people like a lot is the concept of being detached and loving. But what we have to understand is, detached and loving is not something that you can practice and become. Detached and loving is a byproduct of having all relationships with Baba. So again, practicing to be soul conscious and practicing to experience all relationships with Baba, that is the practice you have to do. And then you become detached and loving. So Baba says, and when you are detached and loving, the byproduct is you are tireless. Because whatever you do, whether it is appreciated, awarded, rewarded, recognized, not recognized, it doesn't hurt you. And then you are not doing it in I consciousness and mind consciousness. Have you seen that when you do something in I consciousness also, it is very tiring? So have you seen that if you have to remove one thing from one place and keep it in another place, it takes only one thought, one act to pick it from one place and keep it in another place. But then if you're doing it in I consciousness, then you create 30,000 thoughts in the process. I'm the only one doing it. Why is nobody else doing it? They treat me like a servant. Why should I be doing all the work? And nobody is taking responsibility. They have given it, they've laid it all on my shoulders. And you create these thoughts and then you become tired. Then you feel burdened. So Baba says, when you have all relationships with Baba, you're very soul conscious and you're free from I and mine, and then you're tireless. And then second thing is, whatever Baba says that they constantly dance in happiness. So whatever you're doing in happiness. When you are when you don't have that fulfillment inside, then you do everything for happiness. Yes, you cook so that you are happy when it is appreciated. But then when you are full of the attainments from Baba, then you do everything in happiness, not for happiness. And then Baba says, they are lost in love for the Father and in doing service. Instead of being stopped by obstacles, they are destroyers of obstacles. And you see, in my experience, I felt that no obstacle is greater than you. Yes, no obstacle is greater than you. And how do you cross an obstacle? First thing you do is cross it with your mind. Yes, the moment you say it's not a big deal, you have crossed the obstacle half. Yes, and the moment you say it's a big deal, then you have kind of consumed, you have kind of, made yourself available to be consumed by the obstacle. So first thing is, when you have an obstacle, whatever kind of obstacle, whether it is loss, gain, fame, defamation, or whether it is, whether it is, praise and defamation, or loss and gain, or happiness or sorrow, or whatever, physically some problems have come. The moment you say it's not a big deal, you have started crossing the obstacle. And then you take power from Baba and you cross it. And you see, everything has a pattern. What is the pattern? Everything comes, persists for a while, and then leaves. There is no situation, no what you call a problem. There is no problem, no situation which stays always. But what happens is, when it comes and for whatever duration it has to stay, you become very affected by it. And why do you become affected by it? Because you think it's a big deal. And why is it a big deal? Because when there is emptiness inside, then everything on the outside looks like a big deal. Yes, just like if you ask a child to push a table and that table is huge, then the child would say it's a big deal. But if you ask an adult to push the same table, he would say it's a child's play. Why? Because the adult has physical strength and the child is, not having that kind of physical strength. Similarly, when the soul is full, then everything looks like a very small deal. And then you do not have that consciousness of an obstacle. And the law says that either the obstacle will kill you or kill your spirit, which is the same thing, or you will pass the obstacle. So if you are in low spiritual strength, then everything looks like a big deal and it consumes you, and then you get affected by it. And if you are having this sense of all attainments from Baba, you're full, then nothing can disturb you. And what can't disturb you will not last very long. And even if it lasts long, you don't mind it, because it is what it is. Yes, I remember there was this one brother, and he told me that when he came for the course, he said that I have this quality that I am always the same in all situations. I am never affected by situations. So I asked him, how do you have that quality? So he said that when he was being raised by his father, so he didn't have a mother, and his mother was dead when he was a child. And he was raised by his father, and he said that my father never said that, today is a good day, today is a rainy day, today is a bad day, today is a day of profit, today is a day of loss. He said my father was always the same. We ate roti sabzi for lunch, and we ate that roti sabzi always. Even if we made huge profits, we ate that roti sabji. Even if we made huge losses, we ate that roti sabji. And he said that taught him how to be equanimous in every situation. And when he said, when I started growing up, then once I asked my father, is our business under loss? So my father said, no, business is how it should be. There are some days there will be loss, there are some days there will be profit, and they are all the same, because finally they all balance out. So he said that I have this dharana that I am never affected by obstacles, because I have been raised like that. So Baba also tells us that, everything is just a scene in the drama. Don't interpret it too much. It is what it is. Don't label it as good, bad, loss, gain. If you label it too much, then you start getting affected. But when will you stop labeling? When it is not the source of your happiness or attainment. And it will not be your source of happiness and attainment and fulfillment if you are taking everything from the source, from Baba. So when you have all relationships with Baba, then you're full, and then you don't get tired, obstacles don't destroy you, and then Baba says, you remain double light and do not have any burden, because you are doing everything without I and mine consciousness. And Baba says all their complaints have finished and they experience the complete stage. They have become easy yogis, because where there is expectation, there is complaint. If you have no expectation, there is no complaint. So these are the benefits of what? Of having all relationships with one Baba. And in the Murli, Baba explains that is only possible when you practice being soul consciousness. Then you can feel the love, feel the attainment of all relationships from Baba. And then today Baba says, what incognito effort does one have to make to change from a Brahmin to an angel? Yes, so Baba says the incognito effort is purity. Do you make the effort for purity? Yes. You see, the effort for purity is very incognito, because nobody can really understand whether you are making effort for purity or not. And purity and impurity is very subtle. So, not engaging in, lustful behavior, or not speaking angry words, or not acting in a violent way, that is not just impurity. That is not, that's not the sign of purity. But purity is very subtle. There is one brother, and he lost his wife, and he was living alone for 10 years. And then when he came to the center, he said that I am a very impure soul. So I said, why do you say that? You have been living alone for 10 years. So why do you say you have a lot of impurity? So he said, because I look at every woman on the planet. He said, my drishti doesn't spare anyone. He said, I seemingly I'm a very good person, and these are confessions, you see. And he said that seemingly I'm a very good person, I have a very good social circle, but nobody knows how bad my drishti is. And I'm so good at camouflaging it that not even my close friends know it. But inside I am a very impure person. And you see, Baba says this is why, impurity is thought, attitude, drishti. All of these things are an aspect of impurity. And if you're looking at people's bodies, if you're looking at, if there is an interest to see bodies, touch bodies, all of that is impurity. And Baba says that if that is the quality of me, the soul right now, then how will I transition into an angel? So Baba says one has to make effort. So now we will understand the relationship between 4 words: consciousness, attitude, vision, and action. So there are 4 words: consciousness, attitude, vision, and action. Now you see, consciousness is the root. Now just ask yourself, there are some bodies on which your impure vision falls, and then there are some on which you never have an impure vision. For example, of course it can't be said with certainty these days, but generally brothers and sisters, parents and children, you don't have an impure vision towards them. Yes, but why is it so? Because it's in your awareness that this is my parent. It's in your awareness, this is my daughter, this is my son, or this is my sibling, this is my sister, this is my brother. So you see, impurity and purity are so connected with awareness. So whether you will have a pure vision or impure vision depends on who you think they are. And just think about, you see, when you go to a temple, then you'd never eye a deity figure, a deity ideal with lustful vision. Why? Because your awareness tells you this is a deity. So your consciousness or awareness is the key to your vision and attitude and action. And Baba tells us that when the consciousness is that this is my husband, this is my wife, then you are trained to think lustfully about them. And this is why it is said that No problem can ever be solved with the same consciousness with which it is created. Because until the consciousness shifts, the attitude and the vision can't shift, and the action cannot shift. So one has to understand, this is why Baba tells us that change your consciousness to, these are my brothers and sisters. We are all children of Prajapita Brahma. Yes. So Shiv Baba is our incorporeal father, and in the corporeal world our Alaukik Pita is Brahma Baba. And we are all children of Prajapita Brahma. Do you understand? Prajapita Brahma is the great-great-grandfather of the whole genealogical tree. So we are all children of Prajapita Brahma. And in that sense, we are brothers and sisters to each other. As souls, we are brothers and brothers to each other. And as children of Prajapita Brahma, we are brother and sister to each other. So even if in the Lokik world, you may be a husband and a wife, but as children of Prajapita Brahma, who are we? We are brothers and sisters. And Baba says, once you drill this into your awareness, then your vision will become pure. And then you will not have lustful vision, lustful thoughts, lustful action towards, that which you call the husband or the wife also. And Baba says only through this method can you become completely pure, because lust is the first vice, the most important one, and until you conquer lust, you cannot conquer the other vices. And there is nothing like partial conquering. So there's nothing like I have dirty vision only for one person. No, then your vision is dirty. So Baba says that when you don't have lustful vision even for one person, one body, then that is purity. And if you want to transition from a Brahmin to an angel, you have to make this effort to change your vision towards everyone and come to the awareness that this is my brother and my sister, because we are all children of Prajapita Brahma. Okay, Om Shanti.